Wow! In this video, I will show you step by step how I turned a bunch of dollar store materials, coffee stirs, and some bits and bobs from Amazon into a nice little bit of building terrain. Fair warning, everybody, this is going to be a soup to nuts discussion about the entire 6-hour build project for this building. Yes, unlike a lot of my projects, I actually sunk in significant time into this building. I think it shows the progression is there. So fair warning, this is a long video, but if you have any questions about specifics, please let me know in the comments below. Now, like many of my projects, it started out because I wanted this merchant building, but the pre-made terrain was so expensive that I decided to attempt to make my own version, starting out with these neat wooden crafting squares, which are just basically cheap laser cut, like, you know, it's kind of like not plywood, but almost like just a composite wood material. You can find these everywhere for cheap, pretty much. Craft stores, everywhere like that. They make very good bases. Sometimes, you know, I like a little bit more sturdiness, and it seems like these little crafting squares provide that a little bit more than some, like, cardboard or even MDF stuff. But, yeah, I really like using these, and you can find them for super cheap. I'm also going to be using a lot of bamboo skewers, which are the weird ones with the handle, and the coffee stirrer sticks, which I bought a box, and I don't know if I'm ever going to use up all those coffee stirrers, because there's a lot of them. I'm using just regular old cardboard to create the kind of foundation, the framework for this little house. At first, I had the idea of trying to go around the cardboard square, but then I ended up kind of putting the cardboard on top of the cardboard square. And as you can see here, I got the corrugated cardboard just from, you know, boxes, and that ended up being a little bit more sturdy for the wall sections than the thin, you know, cereal box style cardboard. And of course, here I'm using a low temperature glue gun, but I'm not being careful at this point. I'm just getting as much glue on there as I can so I can get a good solid substructure for my merchant building here. I did the double stack of the wooden squares for the middle because I had an idea of having like a little like row of coffee stirrers on the outside, and stacking the two things would give me like a nice little edge to put a coffee stirrer on, and thus have a nice little bit of detail. I'm having a lot of trouble actually getting the this is the little kind of balcony that I'm setting up, and I ended up just using a lot of glue and corrugated cardboard. I didn't do anything fancy. I'm sure there's a better way of doing this, but I just wanted to get a very solid structure for this, and it was a real pain to set up. But again, the low temperature glue gun is actually very important and very helpful for stuff like this, and it made the work a lot easier. This is the first like project where I used it a lot, and I'm getting better at it, and there's less paint globs at the end of this project, as you will see. So now I'm just building up the second story. I really considered doing, like, you know, a straight up hollow building where you could take off the roof and have an internal play space, but I'm just not to that point yet in my crafting ability. So yeah, I ended up just doing a regular just solid building, but then having the balcony there for a little bit of play space on the building itself. If I am going to do another building, I think I'll probably have, you know, another little section like that, because again, as cool as hollow buildings are, it's a bit of a pain to create those. But who knows, when I get better at crafting, maybe I'll move on and start to make more hollow buildings. Here I am again, using just the corrugated cardboard, and now I went back to the thinner cardboard, just the regular I don't know what you call this. It's just basically the cereal box cardboard. And I'm just going to do a very rough roof here. And I did a pretty good job with the overhang this time. Again, I just eyeballed the measurements and used a lot of low temperature glue to get it on there. I had an interesting... I was watching a video and I don't remember the name of the guy, but he actually uses construction paper for the sides of his roofs. So the roofs kind of collapse inward a little bit because the construction paper is so light, and thus it looks a little bit more natural. I think I will try that next time, because I did get some cheap construction paper from... there was a place was kind of getting rid of some old crafting supplies, so I managed to get some construction paper and stuff from that. And this is just the dollar store foam core, and I did just blank pieces of it on most of the walls, but on the front here, where I was first trying to figure out how to do the doors, I glued the Hirst Arts door on, and then I kind of glued pieces of the door to fit. The pieces of the stone around the door, rather. And then I just kind of filled in the stonework front with little pieces of cut-up foam core. And I don't think you can really tell the difference between doing that and what I did for the upcoming doors, where I actually kind of just had a solid piece with the door cut out of it. So it was an interesting bit of experimentation, and I really like the way that with the foam core stuff, you can kind of mix and match the way that you're doing stuff, and you're not going to really notice a huge difference here. And as you can see, I'm not doing much measuring. I'm basically putting... Oh, there we go. There's my first door, where I did the texture on it, and then I actually cut the door out. And I'm preparing to do the windows with the crocheting material there. I'll leave a link in the description for that stuff. That's a very interesting product. It's basically meant for, it's meant for crocheting. It's meant for knitting, but it makes a nice pattern for windows. And I didn't feel like doing like fancy resin windows or anything. I guess I could. In the future, I have the UV cured resin, which I think would be very good for that kind of stuff. And then I had forgotten to cut out the windows, which is good because the advantage of using the corrugated cardboard is you can actually cut stuff out after you're done doing it. It's a tough enough material on the walls where you can do that. So I basically just cut out where the window was and then put it in there. I had an idea of maybe doing LED lights as well. But, I mean, the beauty with this project is that if I really wanted to do the LED lights, I could possibly, fit them in there afterwards. But, I mean, this is just a very simple house. I don't think I need any LED in this one. Possibly with my next venture, if I do, like, actual real windows, that will be interesting. But, yeah, low temp glue, tracing out the doors, the same thing that I did on the other walls, except I am basically cutting out a section of the dollar store foam core for the actual door emplacement. And this worked out pretty good. Again, I'm kind of doing a very simplified version of the shifting lands texture, and you'll see that in a moment there. But right now, I'm actually doing the entire building first, and then kind of using a pen to do the texture later. Rolling the aluminum foil ball on the outside is actually, I did that first in most spots, though I did forget on some walls, so I had to go over with the aluminum foil ball afterwards. But you can see there, I have, here I go, starting up with my very, very simple version of the shifting lands stuff. I kind of started with larger bricks and then did smaller bricks as I went around. But I eventually just started doing very small bricks on the other sides. And here we have the balcony spot here, these bamboo cooking skewers. The little handle bits are just so interesting looking, and they made a very nice looking balcony thing there. I could have fit it together a little bit better, but I like that. Oh, and here we go. Miscast Terrain. In one of his videos, he was talking about using thin EVA foam to do shingle tiles like this. I did not take the step of heating the edges like he did, because I just didn't, I think I just didn't want, I wanted to try just the simple method. So I cut it into strips. This is just EVA foam. It's super cheap. You can find variations of this like everywhere. So I tried to just do strips like he did, where you do the texture first, the strip of foam, and then you cut it out into like this strip of shingles. And then as I laid them down, I tried stretching out the EVA foam a little bit so you get a nice difference in the shingles. It's a very subtle look for this one, and I think I will try the method of heating up the edges a little bit for my next build. And I think I also kind of screwed up because I kind of cut the shingles close to the edge of the roof, which was kind of dumb. I think it would have looked a little bit better if they would have stuck out a little bit more, or maybe even done some coffee stirrers underneath, so it would have looked like, the actual supports, slats that the tiles went onto. But I think this effect is probably the easiest way to do tiles, the quickest way to do tiles, and it looks really nice. Now, obviously, you're not going to get that natural, chaotic thing of getting all the little tiles cut out individually and pasted on there, but this looks pretty dang good, and it has enough of an uneven look that it looks natural. So you can see here I basically spent a bunch of time with a pen drawing out all the little all the little bits there. I won't bore you with that part. It's basically you just take a pen and with medium pressure you basically just draw out all the little stone texture. And of course, at this point in the craft, I'm doing the classic Black Magic craft, Mod Podge and black paint, though I went a little bit gray-black for the undertone of this building. In the future, I might actually go for multiple layers of the Mod Podge mixture on the stone parts to try to get a little bit more durability, but this had enough wood bits in it that I think this is going to be a pretty durable build, and I shouldn't have to worry about that. The bamboo skewer on the top, I actually carved a little bit more, and I think that it's goofy, but it looks really good. It's kind of like a mix between a fantasy Viking thing, like the winch that some farmhouses have, so they can winch up hay bales to the second floor. So it's an interesting looking building, and I like the fact that I have the little balcony there for a little extra play space. I regret maybe not putting an LED in there, but, I don't think I'm going to be using this building in that fashion. This is a workhorse piece of terrain. As you can see, my progression has been really good. This is like the fourth building that I have actually put some time in, and you can really tell from the building on the right, which was my first attempt, I have improved dramatically. Though you can see the things that I like about my previous attempts are still there, I am improving every time. I'm taking what I can from other more talented crafters like Black Magic Craft, Shifting Lands, Miscast Terrain, and I've even been watching some interesting Warhammer channels like Knarb Makes. I don't know how you pronounce that channel name. He's building these mega cathedrals of like huge size, so much intricate play space, and I've been doing my best to take what I can from all these sources and try to implement it into my own style of quick crafting. I think I've been really improving. I hope you all have enjoyed taking a look at this progress as I try out new stuff, as I try to combine techniques from various sources into one project. If you have any suggestions on what sort of building I should try to tackle next, heck, let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. You all have a very nice day.
have a great day, and as always, thank you for watching the video.